If you're in charge and things aren't going your way, just lie. It'll get you out of a mess. Well, previously, Mary Barra, the CEO of General Motors, just lied about everything. About their growth, about their EV ventures, absolutely everything, announcing massive targets. In 3 years' time, we'll be ahead of Tesla. 3 years' time, we'll be making 400,000 a year of EV, whatever it was. They're not. I'm Dave. Welcome to Dave Takes It On, and we're having a look at what's just gone on at General Motors. Because up until now, they've just been lying to their prospective buyers. They're promising them, yeah, there'll be EVs coming out. They're going to be brilliant. They're going to be £30,000. You can't beat them. You're going to be lining up to buy them. Yeah, we're doing everything right. Just wait next year, next year, next year, next year, next year, next year, and so on. And unfortunately, we are already 5 years after next year, if you see what I mean. The dreams, the lies just do not come true. But up until now, they have been lying mainly to their buyers. And they're trying to keep them on board. But just this week, General Motors have announced they're using $6 billion to buy back shares. Whoa, $6 billion. Well, what does this mean? Okay. When you own a company originally, if you start up a company, let's say it's Dave Motors, and I start a small factory. If I run out of money and haven't got enough to do what I want to do, I can sell shares in my company. So what I do is I will tell my accountants and solicitors, we want to launch some shares, and they will decide on a value. They'll value the company and they'll divide it into a number of shares. So let's say company's worth £1,000, and we're going to launch 1,000 shares. So the shares are £1 each. So what happens is we put up some of the shares for sale. Now, if I've got any sense, I'll keep 51% of the shares, 501 shares, so that I control everything. Because when we sell the shares, we're selling the company. Yeah, it's not just shares, we're selling the company. I will no longer own the company. The company now will be divided into 1,000 shares, and anyone can buy those shares, and anyone will own the company, but no one person will. So when I'm setting this up, I will make sure that I buy 51% of the shares. Not buy them, I just give them to myself. I don't have to buy them. So I give myself 51% of the shares. And the reason for that is that when we appoint a director or CEO or whatever, if I've got 51% of the shares, I also have normally 51% of the vote. So if I propose that I'm going to be the CEO, let's put it to the vote. Doesn't matter what the others vote, they've only got 49% of the shares. I go, I vote for me, 51%, I win, I'm CEO. And I can award myself, I'm on £1 million a year salary. Do you agree? No? Tough, 51%, I'm on £1 million a year salary. You control the company. So buying shares or selling company in shares is an interesting thing. It means that you don't own it. So in terms of General Motors, no one person owns General Motors. It's not Mary Barra, she just works there. It is the shareholders. So over the years, if the company needs money, you can just print some more shares. And yeah, okay, company's growing, so let's just release some more shares, and it'll have a little bit of a knock-on effect on the share price. Because there are more of them, they're diluted, so the price will drop a little bit, but they soon pick up again. And so every time you launch new shares, release new shares, the control withers away a little bit. And a lot of companies now have released so many shares that there's no one person actually got 51% of the shares anymore. It could be several organisations have each got 20%. One group has 10, one has 5, and there's 6,000 people all got one share each. So it dilutes it. And so you start losing control. So say Mary Barra, she doesn't own the company, she's just the CEO. So the shareholders appoint the CEO. They appoint directors, the directors choose the CEO, and the shareholders vote on it. So it's the shareholders who say yes or no. And also they do the salary package and remuneration, targets and everything else. So over the years, the company, General Motors as a company, has lost control of itself. It's now in the hands of too many people. So when they do a share buyback, all they do is the company just gets some of its profit and just buys all the shares back. And it buys them off whoever wants to sell them. You don't target any one particular person. You just buy as many shares as you can. And you try and buy back a much more controlling interest or a bigger share of the shares. And so when you buy back your shares, it does three main things. The first thing it does gives you a little bit more control. You can now maybe pass things through because you've got more shares than you did have beforehand. So that's important for control of the company. See, if you have a company, General Motors, for example, and the biggest shareholders are all absolutely dedicated green supporters, everything's got to be green, everything else, they can get together and they can say, right, we've got to stop selling petrol cars altogether, they're out of fashion, we're now only going to sell EVs and they must be charged from renewable energy. Well, if General Motors doesn't have enough shares, that can be passed through by the shareholders. And that's the policy for the company. They can't stop it at that point. That's the policy for the company. And the CEO they appoint will be told, this is what you're doing. And if you're not prepared to do it, out the door, we'll get someone in who can. So it gives you control back. The more shares that you have within the company, the more control you have. The second thing it does is it boosts the share price. It sends a message to the markets. The market it's a nefarious thing. It's not a real thing. It's just a sentiment. The market is people, what people buy and sell. But the markets will say, well, if General Motors are buying the shares back, they're pretty confident that the company's going to survive, and they're pretty confident that the shares are going to go up. And the only way the shares are going to go up is if they sell more cars or make more profit, or if they're very, very successful. So it sends a message to the markets, General Motors, we're okay, we're doing well, we're doing fine, you don't have to worry about us. We may have missed a few targets, but we have confidence in our direction, our ability to actually make a profit so that those shares will be worth more to us as a company. So that's the second thing. The third thing it does is it makes the directors richer. Well, the directors own shares, but if you buy back a load of shares into the company from the finances, then that's a sign that the shares are going up in the near future, and therefore everyone in the company already who has shares would now be richer. They'll probably get a dividend, a bonus, they'll probably see the share price go up in the very near future. And so the actual shareholders, and particularly the directors, many of whom get bonuses in share options, will suddenly become a lot dearer. So the directors, CEOs and everyone else love it. The shareholders love it. The market seems to like it. Why? I can never understand because, well, yeah, for the reasons I've already stated. So consequently, it seems like a good move. The only problem comes is if the shares don't start going up in value. If all you've done is bought a load of shares that's crashed the price on the day and they don't recover, then all your shareholders have now got shares which are worth far less. And they're not very happy with that. Because the reason people buy shares is they pay a dividend, a profit while you own them, and you can sell them for a profit because they go up in value when you've had enough of them. If all of a sudden all your shares just drop 10 or 20% in value, you're not going to be very happy with the management of the General Motors. So the future is very doubtful now for General Motors, particularly because an awful lot of these share buybacks are not done out of spare cash. They're not done out of profit. They are loans. So the company will vote to borrow more money, and that money will be used to buy the shares back. That automatically devalues the shares. So there's a lot going on at General Motors, and to me this looks a little bit like money laundering. Let's grab what we can while it's still going. It's not going to last very much longer, but let's keep the money coming in and let's cash in what we... Oh, too late, it's gone bust. Good job I got out in time with most of my money. And that's where I see General Motors. It's a measure of desperation. They're either desperate for money, but if they borrowed money to buy it, they're not desperate for money. This is a choice. And if they are desperate for money, they shouldn't be doing this. Anyway, that's it for now. So thanks very much for watching. If you liked the video, please click the like button. And if you want to see more, please subscribe. Thanks for watching. I'm Dave.